Oi, como vai? Tudo bem? Welcome back to Portuguese Classes with Professor Jason. In today's class, what I'd like to focus on is ter as a power verb in Brazilian Portuguese. Now, if you've seen my other lessons on power verbs that I've uploaded, right? Ser, ir, etc., you'll remember that what I mean by power verb is a verb that's extremely common, very versatile, has a lot of uses in a language, okay? Power verbs have a variety of uses in everyday speech, okay? They tend to appear frequently in common idiomatic expressions. So the idea is that if you can master the uses of these verbs, such as ser, ir, ter, estar, and some basic vocabulary, you're going to be able to communicate quite a bit, pretty well, in just about any situation. And you're going to sound more natural and authentic doing it, okay? So let's take a closer look at this particular power verb, the verb ter, whose basic meaning is, of course, to have. Now what I'll do is present, again, review the conjugations of the verb ter in the present tense, and after we do that, we're going to go on and look at some of its most common usages in the language of Brazilian Portuguese. All right? Okay, so first off, here are the conjugations as promised of the verb ter in Brazilian Portuguese. Go ahead and repeat them as I do. Eu tenho, você tem, ele tem, or ela tem, nós temos, vocês têm, eles têm, or elas têm. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about some of the most common uses of the verb ter in Brazilian Portuguese. First of all, and very similar to a major use of the verb to have in English, we're going to use ter to indicate possession of things, possession of objects, okay? So for example, I can say, temos cachorro, we have a dog. Okay? Or eu tenho carro velho. Or Cláudia tem duas blusas azuis. Okay, a second use would be to talk about age, to ask someone how old they are or to tell how old you are or someone else is. For example, quantos anos você tem? That's how I ask how old you are. Quantos anos você tem? And the person might respond, tenho 30 anos. Or talking about a friend, meu amigo tem 40 anos. Or a family member, minha filha tem 13 anos. Okay, a third use of the verb ter is to say what someone has to do. We use the verb ter conjugated plus a verb of the infinitive or the unconjugated form. Okay, very simple, very similar to using the same expression in English, right? What do you have to do today? O que você tem que fazer hoje? And I might say, I have to work. Tenho que trabalhar. Or she has to study. Ela tem que estudar. Or we have to leave. Temos que sair. So again, we just take the verb ter, conjugate it, add the word que, and a verb. Okay? Alright, a fourth usage of the verb ter encompasses many idiomatic expressions or common expressions that are used to indicate physical or emotional conditions. And I'm going to put these on a couple of slides because there really are quite a few of them, and it's not an exhaustive list either. First of all, and a very important one in Brazilian Portuguese, is to say ter saudades, which roughly translated means to miss someone or something very much. Right? So if I say tenho muitas saudades, ou tenho saudade, it means that I miss that thing or person very much. Okay? Second expression, ter medo, to be afraid of. Ter pena means to feel sorry for, sorry about something. Ter raiva de means to be angry about or at someone or something. Ter pressa means to be in a hurry. So here are a couple of example phrases or sentences using a couple of those expressions. Eu sempre tenho muita pressa. I'm always in a big hurry. Or minha irmã tem medo de voar de avião. My sister's afraid of flying in a plane. Alright, and here's another slide using some expressions with ter. Okay? They work the same way as the ones on the previous slide. Ter fome means to be hungry. Ter sede means to be thirsty. Ter sorte means to be lucky. Ter calor means to be hot. Ter vontade de means to feel like doing something. Okay? To want to do something, and you add a verb in the infinitive. So, a couple of examples here with these. Você tem muita sorte. You're very lucky. Or, nós temos vontade de jantar. We feel like having dinner. All right, it's important to point out here that all of the expressions we just saw, or at least most of the expressions we just saw in the previous two slides, can also be used with the verb estar com, and they often are, especially when the speaker wants to emphasize that that state or condition is temporary or immediate, very current, okay? Or immediate, I should say, very current. So here are some examples of revising those statements with TER using the expression estar com, okay? For example, estou com muita pressa, means I'm in a big hurry. Ana y Carolina estão com calor, means Anna and Carolina are hot, not in the sense of being attractive babes with nice bodies, but in the sense of they wish someone would turn on the air conditioning. They're hot, okay? Don't let your minds wander, people. Você está com muita sorte. You're being very lucky. You're getting very lucky today, for example. Or, eles já estão com vontade de jantar. Are they already feeling like having dinner? All right, a fifth use of the verb ter that I've sort of separated out also involves idiomatic expressions or fixed expressions, but these two are a little bit more specific. So we have ter razão, which means to be right about something in an argument or just an observation, or ter a ver com, which means to have to do with. Okay, some examples of a couple of each. Desta vez, Felipe tem razão. Você acha que sempre tem razão, né? That one means you think you're always right, don't you? You might have heard that in an argument. It's a good one to remember. Você acha que sempre tem razão, né? All right, examples with ter a ver com. Meu trabalho tem a ver com publicidade. My job has to do with advertising. Or, ele não quer ter nada a ver com ela. He doesn't want to have anything to do with her. Ele não quer ter nada a ver com ela. Okay, a sixth, we're getting way up there in numbering now, a sixth usage of the verb ter could be to indicate the presence or the existence of something or someone. Okay, for example, tem 20 alunos nessa aula. There are 20 students. Or, tem restaurante nesta rua. There is a restaurant. Tinha muitas pessoas no estádio ontem. There were a lot of people at or in the stadium yesterday. Okay, and in these cases, the verb is impersonal. Its conjugation is always in the singular. It's always tem or tinha in the past. Occasionally, however, the impersonal forms of the verb haver, a and havia, are substituted for tem and tinha. A couple examples so you can see how that works. Há restaurante nesta rua, a, or havia muitas pessoas no estádio ontem. Okay, so you just substitute the form a or havia for tem or tinha. Okay, ter is also used as an auxiliary verb to form compound verb tenses to say that someone has been doing something or that someone had done something. Now this is done using ter and the past participle of a main verb. The past participle is the form that usually ends in ado and or ado and ido. Okay? A couple of examples. Sergio tem estudado muito nesta semana. Sergio has been studying a lot this week. Nós temos viajado demais neste mês. We have been traveling too much this month. I might be missing a couple accents on these spellings of these words here. Forgive me. Vanessa tinha ligado antes de nós chegarmos. She had called before we arrived. Eles tinham esquecido o endereço. Eles tinham esquecido o endereço. They had forgotten the address. Okay, here if you're familiar with Spanish and how the present perfect tense in Spanish correlates with the English present perfect, you're going to see it. You might have noticed a difference, right? In Portuguese, using the present tense of ter does not express the same idea as using haber in Spanish to form the present perfect. So look at the examples in Spanish I have here. Yo he visto una película. Yo he visto una película, right? Or yo he visto esa película, excuse me. He visto esa película. I have seen that movie. Or ¿has comido pizza en Chicago? ¿Has comido pizza en Chicago? Have you eaten pizza in Chicago? Right? Now these constructions in Spanish are the equivalent of the present perfect in English. In Portuguese, the same idea, have you done something yet or have you already done something, is expressed not with the verb ter in the present tense, okay, but using the simple past and usually the adverb já. A couple of examples of the same idea here in Portuguese. Eu já vi esse filme. Eu já vi esse filme. I have seen that movie. Você já comeu pizza em Chicago? Você já comeu pizza em Chicago? Have you ever, for example, have you ever had pizza in Chicago? Alright, now that concludes my presentation on the power of verb ter in Brazilian Portuguese. I hope you found it to be informative, helpful, useful, all of the above. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please let me know what you think about this video lesson. Don't forget to check out my website at www.professorjason.com. I also have a Facebook page. You can find it by searching Professor Jason Learn Spanish and Portuguese. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at www.twitter.com/professor_Jason. That's a mouthful. Okay guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Até logo. Ciao.